Hey everyone, it's Chris Walicki. Today I'm going to show you one of the coolest Microsoft combination solutions. I'm going to use an Excel spreadsheet combined with Microsoft Visio to create a quick organizational chart. I'll use the organizational chart wizard in Visio, and the word wizard implies some kind of magic, and I think this combination of software does create a magical solution for creating large, complex org charts. Let's start with the basic spreadsheet. And if you've seen my prior blogs, what I like to do is click on View, and I'll remove the grid lines because to me, the grid lines are bad for the environment. Actually, it's like putting Visine in my eyes because I understand that every cell is a part of a grid in Excel, and I don't need to see those grid lines. So how do we create this Excel spreadsheet in order to be accepted by the wizard in Visio? You simply put ID on the top and you label the number of employees you're going to have. Next, this is the most important column. You want to label it as it reports to, and what it represents is employee number 1 is at the top of the org chart. They're not reporting to anyone, but employees number 2, 3, and 4 report to employee number 1. Employee number 5 reports to employee number 3. Employee number 6 reports to number 1, and so forth. So this is the most important column. Probably you'll spend the most time on this column to get it right. But after that, with those two columns, we could add additional information on this organizational chart. I've added position titles, headcounts, FTEs, and what FTEs are, they represent full-time equivalents where you might have a headcount of 2, but they're only working 40 hours a week. I have weeks prior. I've used this file multiple times for new developments, and it would show how many weeks prior to opening the person would be hired, their hire date, salaries or hourly, but there's so much more you could put on here. What's missing on this list is their name. You could put their nickname. You could put an employee ID number, a phone extension, a seat location if it's a big office, their work shift, assigned parking spot, home address, emergency contact, etc., etc. Whatever you'd like to potentially display on the organizational chart, you could add to this file. So to finish this, the final data has to be on the far left tab. You have to save it, and the most important is you have to close it. It's not going to work if you don't close the Excel file. So just remember where you saved it. So now I'm going to launch Visio, and what we have is a blank Visio sheet. It will remember the most recent features you've used in Visio, but to get to the org chart wizard without fail, click on New, and it's going to be one of the top selections. So you click on Organizational Chart, and we can just click on Create, and automatically you're brought into the Organizational Chart wizard in Visio. And from here, I could almost leave it from here because you follow the dialog boxes, which are pretty straightforward. So let's go through it. You click on Next. It asks you about an Exchange server or do you have a file? Well, we have an Excel file, so I'm going to click on that. Then, again, you have to remember where you saved your file. So you click on the file through using the Browse feature. Click on Next. Here, it'll pre-populate ID and reports to, so you can actually just click on Next. And now you have some choices. What would you like to display on your org chart? So I'm going to do very basic. I'm just going to leave it as is just to get through this and show you how this works. There's also another choice on shape data fields, but you can just click on keep going. Now, this is an awesome feature. I've used this before. It can add pictures to your org chart. And in order to do that, you simply add a column with the employee name and have a folder of pictures labeled exactly the name within the Excel file. And if you do that, it's going to work. Really amazing. And then here we are, we're at the last dialog box, and it just says how much do you want to display on each page. I'm just going to do the default. So I'm going to click Final. Bam, there it is. We've gone from an Excel file to a Visio org chart. And for those who haven't used Visio, Visio is really an amazing org chart. It's easy to work with. There's a lot you can do. So we've done it, but let me just show you the power. So I'm going to go back to the Excel spreadsheet. And what I'm going to do is just double this, just to show you how you can utilize this for a larger organization. So I'm doubling that size. I'm going to save it, and you got to remember to close it. It's not going to work if you don't close it. And because I've set this up, I'm going to go through this rather quickly. I'm going to pick the org chart and just hit create. And now that we've set up this file, essentially what I'm doing is, this is real time. I'm just clicking next. I'm going to click next all the way through until this finish comes up. I didn't make any choices because I've done this once. Then I click on finish, and voila, we have an org chart that is double the size that I showed you. It's a little awkward. So from here, you can manipulate it however you like. Actually, I was trying to get this one over here. It's really powerful and really useful, especially if you had additional information shown in the org chart. It's really nice to work with. And a bonus tip is the fact that you could use this particular feature for a process flow. You can remove the picture formatting and make this, based on the reporting to feature. So there's a original event. You can have 2 outcomes, and then from the outcomes you can have different events. So really interesting stuff. I've used it as a process flow. So I hope you've learned a new feature in Microsoft, and you know what, give it a try with your next org chart.